Good morning, everybody. Michael here from Bryn Quilts. I hope you're tuning in today to our April. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're already in April. April, come sew with me. So I wanted to say thank you all for supporting me. We have a very large group and I'm really excited. Today, I'm gonna show you my new pattern and I'm gonna kind of walk you through how it kind of works. So it's called Tippy Tippy Toe. Here's one of the blocks. I want to give a big shout out to the Quilted Cow Mawr. They are in the process of quilting my finished quilt. So I just thought I would bring this to you and I hope you like what you see. This is in my new fabric line called Sparrow Falls for Andover. And I'm so gracious to them. This has just been 1 year of whirlwind and I couldn't be happier. But this is the block. It's super fun. It looks like an old school, fan that's on like a windmill and it kind of spins, or like a garden pinwheel. So I hope you like it. This is again in my fabric line Sparrow Falls, and it's really easy to make. So here is the pattern that you will get. Some beautiful diagrams, you could see. Everything's laid out for you. Has all the yardage. There's also a kit available that is on pre-order. The pattern is available now, but the kit is available for pre-order. And it will ship as soon as the fabric comes out. I have posted in this post a link to each one of those, whether you want a physical copy, a digital copy, or you would like the kit. It would be great. So you can kind of take a look at that. And this is how it'll arrive. So when you get the pattern, one of the things that you'll note is there are 2 paper templates. That's how you get these angles for these really cool things. So you've got templates set 1 and template set 2, okay? They're in the quilt, as you could see, they go in different orientations. So you need both sets to make the different angles and to make this beautiful secondary pattern that comes out. So I hope you like that. All right. So I have taken the liberty of pre-cutting out the templates, and we're going to be working with T1 and T2 today, and that'll be in your pattern, right? So here they are. And there's these little notches. Make sure that you cut those out. It'll save you time later and eliminate a lot of the bulk. So here they are, T1, T2, okay? So we're actually gonna start by cutting out our T1. And I'm gonna lower this so I can show you how to do it. You're gonna take the rectangle that you need to cut from the pattern, and then you're just gonna lay your fabric down like that, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start, this makes, as a matter of fact, it's good to note that when you cut out these rectangles to cut, you're gonna be cutting 2 at a time, right? So what you wanna do is you wanna lay this out like that, and you wanna take your rotary cutter, and you just wanna cut it. So you end up with 2. And then you're gonna spin this around, and in those notches, you're just gonna cut them off. Like that. And then you have a couple down here. I do recommend, if you have one of those, rotating mats, it will be very helpful for you. I don't need it. I'm fine doing it that way. I live on the wild side. I'm a little brave. So that's your first unit. And then you're going to lay this back down on the other side. Like that. Making sure you line up those corners. And then you're going to trim off those notches. Just like this. Having these notches is very helpful because it allows you to fit like a puzzle piece, right? So it's just like that. And then you get the 2 pieces. You're gonna need 4 for each block. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? So you'll set these aside for now. We don't need to cut anymore. Then you're gonna take your triangles, your squares, which are depending on what color you're working with, because there's multiple colors in it, you're gonna take that square and then you're gonna cut them diagonally, corner to corner in each direction, okay? So for this particular block, you wanna make sure that when you're putting these right sides together, right now I'm working with my A fabric, which is my background, and then C is one of the accents, just so everybody's an FYI here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this and you're gonna put them right sides together. You wanna make sure that depending on which block you're working on, that you have them going the right direction. So I'm gonna put my C fabric right sides together on that, and then I'm gonna sew 1/4 inch all the way down. I'm gonna do that really quickly for you. I'm gonna go off camera for a second, just so you guys can kind of get a visual. And there we go. So this is the unit, 1/4 inch all the way down. And then you wanna finger press or use your iron, however you do it ahead of time. And then you're going to press towards your C fabric, okay? And you're gonna make all of these little triangles, okay? These little half triangles, because you're gonna need them later, all right? As you can see, I'm gonna put that aside. And now I'm gonna take my main print and I'm gonna take out my template, which in this case I'm using T2, okay? And I'm gonna lay this on here. And then I'm gonna cut, okay? As you can see, it lines up perfectly. All your measurements are in the pattern. And then I'm just going to trim, okay? Like that. And like this. And then I'm gonna cut the little notches off. Okay. And one more little notch. Okay. So then you end up with your weird shaped triangle, as I would say. It's important to note that it works to your benefit, but it could also hinder you when you're doing this. Just be mindful. You know what? I apologize. Hindering is one of those negative words. We don't want to use words like that, right? So everything is on the bias. So just be careful when you're sewing and pressing, and it'll fit. But it also gives you a little play later because this pattern is a partial seam. So it'll allow you to stretch a little bit if you need to, just to make those corners fit if your 1/4 inch isn't consistent. So that was my recommendation. So then what you want to do is you want to take this piece like that and you want to put it right sides together on to the left side. Let me turn it around for you. Like that, okay? And then we're going to sew 1/4 inch, making sure that you line up those edges. If you cut your notches out, like I said, they will fit like a puzzle. All right, I'm gonna go off camera for really quick so I can show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, just like that. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to finger press lightly to make sure that it keeps its shape, right? And there we go. If you did it correctly, it should line up perfectly and you get a perfect point there. Super easy, just being mindful of that bias, okay? So then what you wanna do is you wanna take this piece and then you're gonna lay it off. You're gonna see that it doesn't fit quite there at that corner, but that's okay. What you're gonna do is you wanna make sure that you have at least 1/4 inch overhang when you put this right sides together. Because when you press this, it'll go to where you need it to. Does that make sense? So if you have that 1/4 inch, you'll have a little bit of a tail overhang, but when you go to press it, it'll lay where you need it to. Again, that 1/4 inch overhang. So now we're gonna take this to the machine and we are going to sew 1/4 inch all the way down. All right, there we go. All right. So there's your unit. So now when you go to press this out of the way, I'm pressing lightly without stretching, and you end up with one of your quadrants. You see how there's just that little overhang? That's your guide for later. Because what you're going to do now is once you make 4 of these for each block, you're going to take this and then you're going to put this right sides together like that. Okay? You're going to fold it over and make sure that you're going to sew from this part of the unit. Hey, look, do that up close. That's better. You have that little tail. That's your guide. That's good. You want to keep that, at least for now. Okay? Then you're going to sew 1/4 inch to about that center point. There's no, I mean, there is technically a center point, just enough so you can leave it open on this end. So let me show you that. So I'm sewing 1/4 inch starting from this one side, and I'm gonna stop about to the middle, and then I'm gonna give it a couple of back stitches just to make sure that it's secure, okay? So here we are. As you can see, I kind of stopped right there at that middle. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to trim that little dog ear right off. Just like that. So now what I want to do now is I want to take this and then I'm going to press it towards the outside because you want the inside of your block to lay flat, right? Just like this. Okay? And that's your first part, that's your first quadrant with your centerpiece. If you look at this, as you can see, the back of my block lays flat. Okay? It goes all the way around, but it lays flat because then when the quilter comes through, they'll be able to quilt over this, no problem. There won't be a lot of little intersections, and it just lays really nice. Let me show you that again. Just like that. Okay? So then you're going to work yourself around starting at 11, and you're going to work clockwise all the way around. And then you're just going to keep sewing and pressing out. When you get to the last unit, which is right here, you're going to be able to pull this, let me move that, pull this out of the way and attach the next piece, okay? Then you could fold it back and then close it. You'll just come back through and then you'll stitch all the way down and it'll open up and then you will end up with this. Very pretty, very simple, not very hard. I hope you liked the block. It was a lot of fun writing the pattern and getting it situated. So I just thought I would bring that to you. So for those of you tuning in today, I am going to be just kind of going through what's coming up. I'm also going to be, there's a lot, oh my gosh, I have so much coming up. Next month is my busiest month. I am at H&H and F&F for the first week of May. And then I have a little bit of downtime, and then I will be at Missouri Star for my own retreat for Hope Floats. I can't wait. I know some of you have already signed up. I may still have a few seats left, so if you would like to look into that, you just go to their website and you'll be able to find it. And then I'm just doing a bunch of gigs, and then my fabric's coming out, so that's awesome. And that'll be out in the end of August, early September, which is Sparrow Falls. Here's a little sneak peek of the fat quarter bundle that you'll get. It's super fun and beautiful. I'm really excited. And it has the whole line. It's all 24 pieces, which is amazing. So be on the lookout for those. And I hope everybody has a beautiful day. If you have any questions, please contact me. And I look forward to seeing you next month. All right, everybody. Love you. Happy quilting. And God bless. Mwah.